Hi, my name is Trevor O'Grady, founder of 360 Telemetry, and today I'd like to show you our M2M platform for monitoring your remote devices called MyM2M Web. Okay, so let's get started and log in. When we log in, we're immediately presented with a dashboard. The dashboard is configurable per user, so each user can have their own specific dashboard containing charts and other information that they're interested in. Also on the dashboard is a map, and the map contains the location of all the devices that a user can manage. So these are all our remote devices spread throughout the world. The number in the circle is the number of devices in that location. So let's click on this area here in Europe, and let's say we're interested in a device in Paris. We can see in the Paris region there are 5 devices, so let's click on that, and you'll see we're now zoomed into our 5 devices in the Paris region. We'll now click on a map marker for this specific device here that we're interested in. You'll see the unique device serial number appears, and also a number of options, the first of them being charting. So if we want to view charts for data that this device has gathered, that's the one we'd use. So we click on that, and immediately we're presented with a chart for temperature. Now this device is also monitoring a number of other things, so let's add them too. So let's add humidity. And we can see now that humidity appears on the chart also. So let's add the other channels: ultraviolet, wind, and pressure. And now we see that all 5 data channels appear on the one chart. We can disable series if we wish, if the graph gets too cluttered, and enable them again. You'll see that an axis for each data channel appears on the right hand side. We can zoom in now by dragging with the mouse, so we'll drag and define an area we want to zoom in on. Let's zoom in some more. And now you can see the individual data points start to appear on the graph. We can mouse over those data points and get an exact timestamp and value for each data point. We can also pan the graph left and right if we hold the Shift key on the keyboard and drag with the mouse. So now we're panning forward in time, pan the other way, and we're going backwards in time. We can also zoom in and out using the scroll wheel on the mouse. So that's charting. So let's go back to device marker. Okay, so let's click on the device marker again, and this time we'll click on alarms. Now we're presented with the alarm state for each channel. An alarm event is when a value exceeds a threshold, so when it goes above a high threshold or goes below a low threshold. We can see here that humidity and ultraviolet have exceeded their high threshold, while wind and pressure have exceeded their low threshold. Temperature is within threshold. And from here as well we can configure the alarms. So if we click on configure, we can see that we can set the high point and the low point for alarms. We can also add contacts. There's already a contact here. Let's add another one. And now we have a second contact. These contacts will get notified when, in this case, a temperature alarm event occurs. Also, if we click on the table, we'll get a history of alarm events for that channel. Now we see a graph containing the high threshold and the low threshold. And we also get a table here of all alarm events for this device. From here we can acknowledge those alarms to say that somebody has seen them. We can also click on the event and get zoomed in on the graph where that occurs. So for example, this high alarm event here should have occurred at this point here where the value has exceeded the high threshold. So let's click on that and see if that's what's happened. Yeah, we can see that the high point was recorded here. When the remote device would have recorded this data value, it would have immediately connected to the server and uploaded all its data so that users are informed about alarms as soon as they happen. Okay, so that's alarms. So let's go back to our device marker on the map again. Okay, so let's click on the device marker again. And this time we'll click on configuration. So configuration are values we set here on the website that are going to go down to the remote device. They're going to be collected by the remote device when it connects to the server. So they typically are things like the server name, where to connect to, things like the logging interval, how often to log items, the upload interval, how often to connect to the server and upload all data, and configuration items for each channel. So we can disable channels to stop them recording data or generating alarms. We can also calibrate channels. So if a sensor was sending us raw data that was maybe non-linear, we could apply a calibration table that would linearize the data. We can also configure the alarms we spoke about earlier, so we get that same window from here. So we could set the high threshold and low threshold. And over here we get a status. Now the up arrow means that the configuration was changed on the remote device and uploaded to the server. Down arrow means the configuration was changed here on the website and has been downloaded to the remote device. The pending status means that the value was changed here on the website, but it has not yet been collected by the remote device. So that's configuration. Let's go back to the device marker on the map once again. Let's click on the device marker. And the last item we haven't looked at is device information. So let's click on that. So here we see information about the particular remote device. We can see its unique serial number or device ID, its firmware version, the version of software running on the remote device, the battery status, how much battery is remaining if it's a battery-powered device, its signal strength if it's on a mobile network, its data usage. This is important if we're on a mobile network, as keeping the data usage under certain levels is important as we are charged per byte. And some notifications that have been sent by the server as a result of data gathered from this device. We can also record notes here. And we have a record then of that note. We've been using the dashboard up till now, but if we look on the left-hand side, we'll see we can click on a map to get a full screen map. Now this is particularly useful on mobile devices using a small screen. The site is fully mobile friendly, so you can use it with your smartphones and your tablets. And having a full screen map makes that much easier to do. If we click on areas, we've divided this particular site by location, by continent. But you could have any grouping mechanism you wish. You could group by distributor, by region, or whatever. So let's click on the Europe area, for example. And we'll see that we're presented again with our familiar map zoomed in on our devices. But now we also have a table of devices. If we want to search those devices, we can start typing in the search box. So if we know some of the serial number, for example, let's start typing. So you can see now the number of devices is starting to decrease based on the search criteria. So if we type some more, we'll get down to just the one device. If we knew some of the address, for example, let's say Paris, you can see now that only devices containing Paris in the address field are now listed in the table. The familiar icons we saw before on the map markers is also available to click from here. Also, if we click on a device in the table, we'll see that the map zooms in to that device on the map. That's it for this quick demo. We'd be more than happy to do an interactive demo for you or a web conference. And please feel free to go to our website and use the demo yourselves at demo.360telemetry.com. Thank you very much for your time.